It's a Mario. I'm an Italian plumber, no? You know, when I tried to get into acting, I told him I could do every accent known to man. So just giving you guys a little Italian plumber there. Majimbu, see? That's French. And of course I know gangster, Fitty. And I can even speak Mrs. X when she's mad. Hey guys, Mr. X here with Mario from First Four Figures. This piece was just released, unless you're watching this from the future. What's it like there? Did robots take over? Did Trump really plan a coup and create a secret government? Let us know. So this is Mario from obviously Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, one of the original games for Nintendo Entertainment Systems. If you're in my generation, born in the late 70s, early 80s, then you absolutely know, love, and adore this character. Even though he's sitting on Yoshi, which was a little bit after my time, though I did play some games with Yoshi in them. Now, the reason I purchased him from First Four Figures is recently I bought their Bowser. You can actually check out the review right here, and it was a fabulous piece. I really enjoyed it, and I thought this would make a fantastic companion piece. If you want to see what these two look like next to each other in my collection, make sure to check out the Extreme Instagram and Facebook page. The link of those is in the description below. Now this is actually my fourth piece from the company First Four Figures. A long time ago I bought their Wolf from a game that I've never even played, still right here. But about 6 to 12 months ago I bought their Sonic piece and I absolutely loved it. That's what caused me to buy Bowser and subsequently Mario. And I have all of them right next to my MAME arcade game. I think they're going to look fantastic together. Now First Four Figures actually made 3 different versions of this statue that we're going to talk about when we get to the design part of the review. Because that's right, we are reviewing Mario today. And I gotta tell you, I initially love him very much, but there are some things that I'm a little bit disappointed in when you compare him to Sonic or Bowser. But nonetheless, I'm gonna love him in my collection. Alright, first thing we want to tackle with this guy is the concept of this piece. Now as I said, it's really interesting that they didn't do a standalone Mario, and they may have in the past. I'm not super knowledgeable about First Four Figures, although I do like them as a company. So to me, this isn't the original Mario that was in Super Mario 1, 2, or 3, which are the games that I knew well. He has a base very reminiscent to the Sonic base, but quite a bit more plain on many levels that we will look at when we go to paint and sculpt. And then you have Yoshi, who assumably is a dinosaur that apparently wears the same kind of shoes that Mario does, and he's trotting along with Mario on his back. So Mario is either a huge giant or Yoshi is a tiny dinosaur, and I think that's the case if I remember correctly. But this is very comical. They took, a 2D version of 8-bit anime, or maybe it was 16 or 32-bit at the time, and they made it into an awesome 3D, very colorful, very eye-popping version of that. Now, you're not going to find a ton of incredible detail in this, but we'll talk more about that in Sculpt. So it shows Mario being the champion, winning, riding his bitch, because let's face it, Yoshi was his bitch. I like it a lot. I think one big thing they really have going for them, it just really pops the colors. I think those tie great into the concept. While a lot of the detail is missing, I still think the concept's a 4 out of 5. It's pretty cool, it's obvious who it is, and I think it'll work well with a lot of their other characters. Now we're going to go into design, so buckle up because probably the most complicated assembly I've ever done you're about to see. Check it out. Came in a moderate sized package, not very heavy at all, and it was double boxed, and we'll talk more about that later as they always do that. Very colorful art box as usual, and had the standard certificate of authenticity like a credit card. It was just one layer as there are only 3 pieces, you can see right here, and here it is with the wax removed. exhaustion. So obviously, pretty easy to assemble, not really a lot going on. Now remember I talked about they actually made 3 different versions of these. So this is the basic version. If you wanted to upgrade, I think it was 25 bucks more, you get an egg. What the hell do I need an egg for? So I didn't want to go with that. I figured this one would be easier to attain as well. Now if you really wanted to go all out, you get this version right here that has a bunch of other stuff. Has a flag in the back, a tri-level layer thing, and to me it's a lot of nonsense that I didn't need. I just want the basic character. However, I do acknowledge and recognize those probably have a much higher resale value, as they probably made less of those, and people always want the biggest and the best. It's the whole good, better, best concept when it comes to selling. By the way, if anyone ever says that to you, good, better, best, always go with the good. They're just trying to make more money off of you. So let's get the dimensions, because really there's not a lot to talk about here. But the base is almost exactly a foot wide, 12 inches. About 8 inches on the depth, however you want to call the depth. Obviously Mario sticks over a little bit. And the highest point is probably the front of his cap here, is right under 19 inches. Now the previous 2 statues I got, they had some automated features. You know, Sonic had a twirling sign, not on the version I got, but Bowser had a light up flame. This one, and I think even the deluxe ones, I may be wrong, this is it. This is all you get. But I don't really think you need anything else. So everything fits really well, which I appreciate. I really appreciate the packaging. They do a nice job. Now, one thing I do want to comment about the packaging. So you saw that it comes in 2 boxes. First 4 Figures always does that. And as a customer, you're like, man, that's badass. Why don't other companies do it? Well, the answer for you is in the conversation from the movie Fight Club.
Take the number of vehicles in the field, A, multiply it by the probable rate of failure, B, then multiply the result by the average out-of-court settlement, C. A times B times C equals X. If X is less than the cost of a recall, we don't do one.
Yeah, they're just doing a mathematical equation how much that protects from breakages. They're choosing the cheapest route, which is a smart business move. I'm not knocking them for it. So back to this piece. So design, I think it's a 3 out of 5. It's not incredibly elaborate, but it's still good. Nothing to write home about. Now let's look at the paint and sculpt of this piece. And I think we're just going to do some pictures because there's not a lot to talk about. First of all, it's very 2-dimensional for a 3-dimensional statue. And let me show you what I mean. So the bottom part of this base, I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. It looks like they just, it looks like they couldn't come up with any ideas. They should have done some of the bricks or something like that. But I don't even know why they chose this color, but it looks fine. I mean, nothing's wrong with it. The grass hanging over the sides, these leaves, very cartoony, not a lot of color variation. The sculpt isn't super clean. This is supposed to be an older video game piece, so I'm not losing sleep over that. Same thing can be said with the top of the base here. So on this you have some green stripes of different colors and a little bit of texture. I think this is the only texture in the entire statue. Here's Yoshi's shoes. They kind of look like Uggs a little bit, to be honest with you. And I don't know how accurate these are because I don't remember what Yoshi looked like, and I didn't study him that detailed, but they're kind of shiny, looks good. Yoshi's skin is a different color green than the base. It's a very matte color. It looks fine. If you look at Yoshi's eyes, the paint's a little bit messy around the eye there, so I definitely have factory production issue, and I see that a few other places. You'll probably notice those in some pictures too. The eyes are also, I'm pretty sure the eyes are decals as well, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but I can get over that. Look at his big old honking nose with the nostrils on the end. And then moving to Mario. So very similar shoes that we talked about, although they don't look like Uggs, they look like plumber's shoes. On his suit, he has a few different lines. It's a solid blue color. The paint's a little messy around these yellow buttons. The red looks good, so there's basically no anatomy or no stretching of the clothes, no folds or anything like that. So they're not going for a very realistic look, which is fine. His gloves look really nice. He could do mime work in his off time. And then his portrait, same comments around the eyes. So there are decals in the middle. The white's a little bit messy. A little bit messy paint job on this. A little disappointed in that. But I like the expression, the elongated nose, the mustache. Apparently his dentures on the bottom of his mouth fell out. His hat, man, where this white connects, they just did a sloppy job painting the white. Very disappointed in that, but the rest of the red hat looks great. Now, we're micro-analyzing this piece, as we should. It's a $500 piece. Even though I see all that stuff, I'm not super disappointed. But from a grading standpoint, I still give the paint a 2 out of 5. It's ugly. I think they did a big miss on the paint. And the sculpt, at best, it's a 3 out of 5, but I think it's supposed to be that. So I can give them a solid 3 out of 5 on the sculpt because they really wanted to keep it true to the character, true to the original video game. So speaking of value $500 for this piece. They made 1,300 of them. This is the lowest end edition. I think this is going to be readily available for a long time. I still love it, but I think the value is pretty bad too. I think it's a 2 out of 5 for the value on this piece. Giving us an overall score, this is an X statue. It has the X factor. Of course it doesn't. I'm being facetious. Does facetious and sarcastic, does that mean the same thing? Let me know in the comments below. I don't want to look it up. You ever see people post shit like that in forums and groups? Hey, what's this? And it's like, have you heard of Google? It's that easy. Siri or Alexa, you don't even need to type it in. You can just ask. I'm in a bad fucking mood because I don't have a dinosaur to ride. But overall, I still like this statue. I do. Even though despite some of its flaws, it's pretty cool. The paint job is really bad. But I'm glad to have in my collection. You know, when you stand back this far, it's a great looking piece. It's still a 3 out of 5. It's very nice. It's very good. I almost graded it a 2, but I just love the character, and I think he's going to look fantastic in my setup. Let me know if I'm on the mark on this by putting in the comments below. Check out some of these other random review pieces on other statues. If you like content like this, I drop daily content all about high-end collectibles and statues and pop memorabilia. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow unless I die. Take care.